Welcome to the Voice of Retail podcast. My name is Michael LeBlanc, and I am your host. This podcast is produced in conjunction with Retail Council of Canada. Meet modern marketing phenomenon and upcoming RCC retail marketing keynote speaker Neil Patel as he shares insights behind his rise to one of the top marketing voices in the world and gives us a quick preview of his upcoming main stage presentation. Neil is a New York Times bestselling author and one of the world's most influential marketers according to Wall Street Journal and Forbes. He will join me in person at the upcoming Retail Council of Canada Retail Marketing Conference, September 12th in Toronto, to explore the transformational potential of AI in retail marketing. Let's listen in now. Neil, welcome to the Voice of Retail podcast. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Where am I finding you today?
Today I'm home, Los Angeles, California.
Nice.
Gonna be with the family. It's kind of nice, although it's really hot out here. So,
were you born there? Or did you move across America? How did you wind up in LA or California?
Born in the UK, London specifically.
Nice.
And when I was a little baby, my parents moved to sunny Southern California, and hence I'm still here. It's pretty much home for me, where I grew up.
Fantastic. Now, last time I saw you in person, you didn't see me. Well, you could have seen me. I was in a big audience. It was Collision in Toronto a couple of years ago. I saw you speak, and now you're going to be joining us, or I'll be seeing you on the stage at Retail Council of Canada's retail marketing event coming up. So we wanted to give people an introduction to you, just in case they haven't heard about you. Hard to imagine for anybody in digital or marketing, but there may be a few people. So tell us a little bit about your background story. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. My name is Neil Patel, as you already mentioned. I'm a digital marketer. I've spent most of my career just growing traffic to websites, most of them being customer websites or company websites, some of them being my own websites as an entrepreneur. Have an ad agency, NP Digital. Blog about marketing, created a few software companies, wrote a book. I've just been doing this for a long time. And I have to say one thing that's stayed consistent is I've been having fun. And I think that's the most important thing when you're doing something for a career or life or whatever you want to call it.
Now, how did you get into this line of work? Were you always oriented to business? Were you always oriented to, math or sciences or digital? How did you find this path?
Yeah, funny enough, I do enjoy math and sciences, and I've always been decent at them or naturally decent at them since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. But that's not how I got into marketing. I got into marketing because when I was 15 and a half, I was searching for a high-paying job, a six-figure job. So I went to all the job websites.
So you were 15 and a half, so cutting lawns was not part of the equation.
No, I wanted to make over $100,000 a year. That was the goal.
It's a lot of lawns, but yeah, okay.
That's a lot of lawns. So I ended up searching for jobs online, quickly realized I don't have a college degree because I was too young, and I couldn't get any high-paying job. So, and back then, college degrees were really required, right? Nowadays, they don't care as much, but back then, they really wanted them.
Sure. So
then, as I was browsing these job websites, some of them were publicly traded, clicked on their, financials or their stock ticker, and you can see all their revenue numbers. And I was like, wow, I can't find a job. I'm just going to create a job board and make a ton of money like these guys. So then I paid some people, to help me make a job board. I was picking up trash and cleaning restrooms at this time, so I was using that money to fund this.
Yeah.
Someone created it, popped it up, and no one came to it. And I quickly learned you had to do something called marketing. I was, ignorant. I didn't know any of this. And I eventually saved up enough money to pay a marketing firm, not a big one. And they provided little to no results. So I was broke, frustrated, had no choice but to learn it. Did it for my own website, was pretty decent at it, got some really good traction. I was like, I'm pretty good at this marketing thing. Maybe I should just double down on this. And that's how it started.
Interesting. Now, how many years ago was that? What are we talking between then and now? How many years?
Roughly 23 and a half, 23-ish years, somewhere around there.
Interesting. I want to get to that a bit later. Tell us, you mentioned you have a number of different pursuits, one of which includes an agency. Tell me about what's different about the agency and what sets you apart. There's lots of people claiming to do lots of things for lots of people, particularly in retail. And what makes you uniquely, obviously, you've been doing it for a long time. That's tick one. But what else makes you unique? Why do, when you're talking to prospective retailers and clients, what do you say, choose me? What do you say?
So we're almost 7 years old. The agency was recently started 6.5-ish years ago. We're at 1,000 plus people already, bootstrapped, no funding, work with a lot of large accounts everywhere around the world. And we've provided amazing results, won 50 plus awards. And I really have to say what makes us different isn't anything crazy or unique like technology or anything like that. We just hire really good people and try to focus on results. And it means a business always doesn't have the best margins or the best profitability, but we try to really keep happy clients. And because we're not venture backed or funded by any private equity or other company, we're able to do what's best for our customers. And that's what's really helped us grow.
I have to ask you this question. It's slightly off topic, but how did you scale a business like that? I talk to a lot of business owners who talk about how, the challenges of scaling, whether it's finding people or systems and processes without coming off the rails. What was your, I don't know if it's secret sauce, but what is it that got you to scale from 0 to 1,000 people and that kind of growth in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, it's a hack that most people won't be able to replicate, sadly. And here's what I mean by that. This wasn't my first startup. I had a software company before that did well. So I started this company with millions of dollars in my own capital. And in total, call it a little bit less than 5 mil into it. So I was able to just hire people who worked in the industry that were really amazing at what they did. For example, our CEO is a guy named Mike Gullickson. He pretty much ran iProspect in the United States. He was a president there. And, they've even tried getting him back and giving him more of a global role to run the agency. You're talking about, that's the agency maybe with 7-ish thousand people, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people like him who are just really good, tons of experience, and we let them do their thing without bureaucracy. That's what's really helped us.
Yeah, as you said, the coming in with that kind of capital, it's rare, but it's not totally unusual. So congratulations on your success. Just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to be successful in what you're doing. And I'll change tax a little bit. You and I have basically been in digital about the same amount of time. I mean, digital has been around 20, 25 years. And, the technology's evolved, the platforms have come and gone and evolved. Is there, at this point, everybody's pretty sophisticated at it. Going on the platforms is kind of like paying a utility. It's hard to get an advantage. Is there still opportunity to refine your craft and win incrementally at digital elements and online marketing?
There is. Even though it's competitive, what most people don't get is a lot of the content out there is junk. A lot of the marketing out there is just regurgitated similar stuff to everyone else. And the ones who get really creative are the ones who stand out and do well. And a lot of that has nothing to do with your budget, has everything to do with how good can you think outside the box and what can you provide that's new to people that will really help them. And most people don't think that way. They think of marketing as, hey, how do I just go out there and, just copy everyone else, do what's working? Well, if it works for them, even if they're in the same industry, copying them doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? A lot of times you don't have certain elements that they have, such as luck or timing. Like maybe they did it really early on where it was working well and it's saturated now and that technique doesn't work as well anymore. But if you really push the limits and try new creative stuff, you can do well. And that's what a lot of people just don't do.
Okay. You're going to be talking about, speaking of technology and digital, your title of your presentation, Harnessing AI. It's amazing. It's one of the first times I've said AI today. We're kind of in the middle of, I don't know, how would you describe this? Like, we're in a bit of a hype cycle for sure, but I think there is a there. Obviously, you do as well. Talk about, or give us a sneak peek about what you're going to be talking about on the main stage at the conference.
Sure. So AI is booming. Everyone's talking about it. I think it's overhyped from the aspect that just everyone's saying that they're leveraging AI when a lot of people really aren't. Now, I think AI is going to be much more valuable 3, 4, or 5 years from now. I still think it's extremely valuable right now, and it's amazing technology. I just really believe a lot of companies are misusing the term AI within their business or marketing, and they're not really doing anything unique or fancy or cool. What I'm going to end up breaking down is how people can use AI in a really practical way to help them get results in ways that don't necessarily cost any money or anything like that. And a lot of it, just being quite honest, is boring and ugly. Everyone wants to focus on the cool and sexy, but the ROI and the money is made on the boring and ugly.
Interesting. A question about AI. With your experience, you got a ton of experience. What? Let's use a baseball analogy. What inning are we in with AI? You just said about 5 years it'll be really cool, but where do you think we are in the development from your experience?
I would say either first or second inning.
Early days. Interesting. How do people get in touch with you? Are you a LinkedIn guy, or get in touch to learn more about you, your agency, and get in touch? Where do they go?
Our ad agency is NP Digital. LinkedIn and all my social profiles is just Neil Patel, or you can even go to neilpatel.com.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Neil, listen, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person coming up in September. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for joining me on the Voice of Retail podcast. It's nice to chat, and again, looking forward to your presentation on retail marketing and AI.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Voice of Retail. If you haven't already, follow on your favorite podcast platform so new episodes will land automatically each week. And be sure and check out my other retail industry media properties, the Remarkable Retail Podcast with Steve Dennis and the Global eCommerce Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Michael LeBlanc, Senior Retail Advisor, keynote speaker. If you want more content or chat, follow me on LinkedIn. Safe travels, everyone.